What's happening, Wisdom Warriors? Back at it for another video. How's everybody doing? So, I want to talk about a little bit of a serious topic and something that is very dear to my heart, and something that I just got done taking a stroll in nature, and I really felt called to share this message because, and I want to speak from the heart. So hear me out, and I want to tell you that this week has been really rough for me and very tough. I've had a lot of obstacles that have arose, so to speak. And as I record this video, I have like a massive headache on the right hand side of my temple. I woke up with it, and things just didn't sit well with me with what has transpired this week. Not only with some personal situations, but also with entering the Akashic Records, where I was getting some channeled messages from someone, and I kind of was, I would say a little bit like derailed. Not only have I felt defeated this week and leading up to this week because of where the channel has been going, the YouTube channel, and just things in general. And so it's not easy for me to say, some of these things, but, I'm going to do it anyway, as I do on this channel all the time. And the messages I got today, have so much to do with the heart. And it hasn't been it's been a similar message, let me just say that, to come from the heart, be authentic. And I'm starting to realize, leading up to now and me recording this video, I want to give you an example, and then also kind of go into like a little bit more of the reading today. But yesterday I was watching a documentary, the documentary of Lori Ladd that she did on YouTube. And there was a moment where she was standing in front of Jesus on the cross in Amsterdam. And I tell you right now, like, as she was speaking and what she spoke about her purpose and being here, I felt it to my core. And I started to tear up and get emotional. And I feel like my purpose is very similar to her purpose of opening humanity's hearts, activating humanity's hearts. And when she said that she was getting that message, and she knew that as a young kid, I knew it, but the clarity wasn't there like it is now. I've been getting messages of them telling me that it's getting clearer and clearer. But I don't want to drag this video out too long, but I want to get the most important points, which is, let me jump a little bit forward. As I was like walking out in nature, I started to realize why these situations happen. And then we look at, like, now again, you may not understand this, and that's okay. And if it triggers you, then you're more than welcome to leave the video. But I'm going to tell you what was coming through. And this was me connected to my heart, because I could tell the difference now between being connected to my heart and not being connected to my heart. And there was some individuals that were walking down past me on the trail, and I waved, and I could tell that my heart was partly opened, just by the way that with certain ones that walked by. And then I noticed a girl walked by, and she kind of sort of smiled, but then looked away, and I attempted to smile and wave, but I really didn't, compared to what I was doing to the other ones. But I felt it in my body that I was not connected. And when someone said to me about a channeling and how we will regret when we leave if we don't do these things, like stepping out and just walking up to some random stranger and hugging them. You'll want to do that so bad when you leave the physicality. And you'll wish that you had. But you don't have all the traumas and the old patterning and the conditioning and all this stuff and the ego and all this crap, that we've built up and suppressed. You don't have that when you leave the physical body. So it's much easier to say, yeah, I would have done that. You would have just randomly walked out into the street and hugged somebody that you don't even know. Maybe some of you will. Maybe some of you would. But majority, I don't think would. Majority, as I know when I'm walking on these trails, don't sometimes even look at you. And I would wave and I would smile and I'd even say hello, and they wouldn't even acknowledge I was even standing there or walking. And that just shows me that their heart is closed. Because I know that that's how I used to be, way back. And then I moved to this new place. And every time I came to visit, I noticed people just randomly waving. You're not even in their neighborhood. You don't even know who they are or where they came from. And just randomly they're waving at you. As you're driving by on a main street and they're in the neighborhood and they're walking around and they're just randomly wave at you. Or even in a public place or a parking lot, you'll get somebody that just randomly waves at you. And that, I know, is your heart opened. Versus somebody that is not wanting to wave at you, not wanting to say hello, has a hard time even opening up about things. And now I'm really starting to deepen my connection and realize when my heart's open and when it's closed. And that really, it's almost like somebody at the gym, and granted, I understand that person may just they don't want to be bothered because they keep getting hit on by guys or whatever, but they wear their headphones and they just, pretend like they're zoned out, and, and that there is a part of that where their heart is closed because they've been hurt by so many men trying to pick them up for one reason, and so it's so interesting when she was standing in front of that statue and she sat in front of Jesus and her body was vibrating. I literally got massive chills throughout my body watching that, and emotional. And I felt my heart opened. And I needed what happened this week to happen to make me realize, because that's how I channel. That's how I connect. And I connect to my higher self. That's how I connect to God, to source, to divine, whatever you want to name it. And to hear Jesus say that no matter what darkness is around, to walk with an open heart, to see that situation from a place of love, from a place of an open heart. Because everything came from love. Everything. No matter what it is, bad or good, evil or not evil, it doesn't matter. It came from love. It came from a place of love. God is love. We're love. A lot of us have just been hurt, and hurt so many times that we're afraid to open our heart. But like Jesus's point and Jesus's purpose was to see things from an open heart, no matter good or bad, no matter if you see a bird flying or you see somebody getting shot. To see that from love, from an open, fully open heart. That's how we wake up humanity's hearts. That's how we activate the planet. And I know it's not easy, man. But I was thinking about it as I'm walking. And I started to understand. And I started to get a different perspective. And I'm like, okay, when my dad passed, my heart opened even more. But see, here's the thing, and here's the situation. Not all these things that are happening that are dark or so-called dark are happening for you. Even though you may hear about it, or you may glance at it as you're walking past a store and they have a news station on and you see it, and it may not fully affect you at a heart level until something like somebody passes in your life that you had a deep connection to. That is opening your heart. Those situations were designed, as difficult as it is to hear, but they were designed by the other individual's soul, and probably your soul, to break your heart open, to crack your heart open. A lot of times we need these situations that are so-called bad to happen, and some have to be really catastrophic to crack someone open, to open their heart, because they've been hurt so many times, and even from past lives and generationally. And so I started to think about these really tragic situations that happened that were like where they were on a national scale, they were on like a mainstream news, or they were like a big national scale. And yet there was times in my life that they didn't actually physically affect me. They didn't connect to me like when my father passed and I was bawling. And I've been bawling numerous times. It didn't affect me at that level. And as I'm speaking, there's a butterfly swirling around on the other side. I wouldn't be able to catch it on camera because by the time I turn the camera, it would be gone. But I still see it. It's way down there. I know that sounds really hard to hear. Like, how could these tragic things be happening all around us? But then you have to think about that they're definitely affecting someone else. And they're definitely cracking open other people. And cracking other people's hearts open and opening their heart fully because they needed it. They needed something so massive to open their heart. And I literally started to have this revelation as I'm walking in nature. I've thought of this before, but this came through as a much more massive download and much clearer. And I knew that I was meant to bring this through to somebody. Somebody needed to hear this. That we need to, like, our purpose here, a lot of our purposes here is to open other humans' hearts. A lot of us. And that's in different ways. But in order for you to do that, you have to have an open heart. Your heart has to be open and you have to be connected to it. And the more present I am, which I was told in the Akashic Records that the more present I can be and get out of my head, the more connected I can be. The more connected I will be, because I just got disconnected, and I noticed these moments that I get disconnected. And I thought about it being as a catalyst of what transpired this week. But in actuality, it's for me to look at that situation and that individual with an open heart, no matter what they say, no matter what comes out, to have compassion and love and an open heart, no matter what. To look at it from an open heart. Because no matter what, we don't know the situation and why somebody's struggling and what they're going through. They're not always willing to just lay it all on the table. They may give you bits and pieces and blah, 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 but a lot of people mask it. And I will tell you this, my dad came through and he started showing a lot of things, and he started explaining of how angry he was. Because the majority of his life he suppressed his spirituality and the spiritual path he was on. And he was definitely on a spiritual path, but he couldn't do it because he had to play in the 3D. He had a family to raise. He had 3 kids to support. And not to mention, he grew up in the 40s. He was born in 1947. Spirituality was not accepted and normalized like it is now. And so he had to suppress it and hide it and run from it. And his channeling abilities, like him hearing spirit and all this stuff, he had to hide it. He couldn't tell anybody about it because they would think he's a wackadoo and a nut job and he's got this issue and that issue. But more and more now, it's so much more normalized and accepted. It wasn't accepted then. It wasn't even accepted when I was growing up in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. And it's been me, majority of my life, suppressing it too. But he said, I'll be damned if my son Darren suppresses this. And that is why he started to take me to these places like Brian Weiss's convention in Fort Lauderdale in 2017, and it was a past life regression, and we all 3 went there. He knew these things, and he knew it all, but he had to hide it. And that's why he got cancer 3 different times, because he was running from his purpose, why he came here, what he came here to do. Because if any moment of him talking about it could have gotten him in a lot of trouble, and people would just not understand, and they wouldn't have understood. And I wish that he would have been more open with me, but he was giving me a lot of signs. He was taking me places, he was taking me to things. You know, he told me little glimpses of like his near-death experience. He told me little things, but I never really saw it. I never really saw the messages and the signs, and I wish I had. Because he was so extremely angry at the end. And I could tell, and that's why he got what he got at the end. And it makes a lot of sense because he was having trouble hearing, and he kept having to put the TV up really loud, and he started to have trouble seeing. The right eye started bulging, and he had to wear a patch. And he didn't find out till a few months before he passed of what was happening. And he was extremely angry, and it was leading up to that because he realized that he was 75, and he realized like it's too late already. It's too late. And he's trying to bring through the message that don't waste your time. This life goes by like the blink of the eye. Follow what feels good to you. Follow what feels good in your body. No matter what, follow it. He regretted it so much. He was so angry at the end. And it was too late. And you know, it's like I was thinking about, they gave me a message of Steve Jobs. They reminded me of Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs said the same thing in the hospital bed. He realized it when it was too late. And he came here to do much, much bigger things in a different way than what he was doing. And he was building this huge fortune and this huge company for what? To die at 40-something years old and not really do what he was here to do. If you go look him up on Google, go look up the quotes of Steve Jobs. He said it in one of the quotes, and if I could ever find it, I'll read it on the channel. But I know there's one quote that he talked about where he regretted, and I know it was in his documentary too. These are all messages for us to realize. Don't waste our time here. Follow what feels good to you. No matter what. No matter what someone says, no matter what someone tells you, follow what feels good to you. Because now my dad left, and he left alone. And he passed alone. He's not going to die with his wife and his kids. But he said, I'll be damned if I'm not guiding my son, guiding him along this path, pushing him on this path, supporting him on this path, because he has the opportunity to do it. There's so many of us waking up now. People are waking up all over the world at rapid paces. Now is the time to share these messages, to share what we came here to do. And this is part of what I came here to do, along with activating humanity, opening people's hearts, because I know the difference when I'm closed and when I'm open now. And I needed that message I had today. That reading happened for a reason. That we didn't get to do it on Monday, and I did hers and she didn't get to do mine. And then we scheduled it for today. There was a reason. I felt so defeated yesterday. I woke up with a massive headache today. And I'm starting to realize, I'm getting chills as I speak to you on this video, because this means so much to me, this video. And I'm going to focus on not how many subscribers and how many likes and how many views anymore, and just focus on getting the message out and sharing my story and my experiences and what I feel when I'm heart activated, when I'm connected to my heart, you know, to help you all on this path and this journey. I'm not gonna, there's no way that I'm gonna be silenced like my dad was. And he's coming through so strong and so many different times. And I literally will be honest with you, I was in fear the last couple days. I'm like, I couldn't see a clear vision going forward. It was like the bridge was broken in the center and it was all foggy and I couldn't see clearly. And then I had that reading yesterday, which took me off course. I felt that way anyway. I felt ungrounded. I was getting massive anxiety this morning and fear. And then the reading happened, and then the documentary happened, and then these messages came through, and the documentary happened yesterday. And all of this led up to now. I still don't know a clear path fully, monetarily. But I just have to keep going, and these doors are going to open the way they're supposed to open, because I'm walking this path with God. I'm walking this path with myself. I'm walking this path with my dad in spirit. And I'm following what feels good to me. I'm following what I'm in alignment with. And so these situations that happen all around us, it doesn't mean that it was necessarily meant for you. It could have been meant for someone else, and most likely it is. This whole place is divinely guided. No matter what anybody wants to say, everything is in divine timing, and it is so perfectly done to the point where everything serves a purpose, whether we want to believe it or not. I'm not going to say that the part of us being hurt as humanity, like people being hurt, there was a purpose behind it. In some instances, in some aspects, yes. For certain people, yes. But that's something we're changing. And the people that have gone through it are here to activate the ones that aren't here to do that, but are hurt. So there is a purpose for a lot of it. There's no accident. And so I feel like that's a really good place to start, but I'm going to continue this topic because I have more that I want to share. My dad really, really came through, and I started to realize like what he was doing at the end too. He was trying to get me more and more open, heart opened. And just him being the way he was actually activating my heart. Because in actuality, the more I think about it, him being closed off and having a lot of anger and, just the things that he would say towards others actually bothered me. And it brought me back into my heart, now that I think about it. So what he was doing was opening my heart more and more. In actuality, even though I was getting frustrated and mad that he wasn't, that he could have done more, that he could have fought more. But in actuality, he already knew probably at a certain point, which he said he did. I don't know exactly when, and I'm not going to sit here and try to figure that out. Maybe I'll get the message, maybe I won't, maybe they'll bring that through, maybe they won't. But the fact of the matter is, he knew at a certain point, because I can kind of tell how he just really he wasn't fighting like he fought like in 97. He wasn't fighting like he fought in 2011. So it just made me realize that he already had given up a while back. But he knew that by doing the things that he was doing, he was opening my heart. He was getting me on that spiritual path, so then he could continue guiding me once he left. So I hope this helps someone out there, man. I hope that if you realize what you're here for, and there's a good chance that if you've been through a lot of things, that you need to look at things from an open heart, no matter what happened, no matter how you were treated, no matter what the situation or the person. Can you look at that situation or that individual with an open heart? Can you open your heart fully, no matter what darkness is around you? Can you look from an open heart, no matter how many times that person hurt you? And it doesn't mean that you have to go back and re-engage or reconnect a relationship, but can you look at it from a fully open heart? And if you do have to go into that situation, can you do it from an open heart? And the more and more I look back at situations that I know I was closed off now. I know my heart was closed, because I can tell the difference. I could tell just in this walk in nature that I had, and I crossed paths with several people, and I could tell which ones I had my heart open and which ones I had my heart closed. So I hope that this message found someone, and I hope that you felt my heart. I love you all so much, and I'm thankful and grateful for every last one of you, and every single one of you. I'm truly blessed and grateful. And I'm so grateful that I can serve and help and share from my experiences. I love you all from my heart. From my heart to yours. Take care of yourselves and each other, and walk with an open heart no matter what. You will thank me. Take care. I love you. Until the next time, I will see you soon. Let's go, Wisdom Warriors. We got this. From an open heart, baby. From an open heart. Take care. I love you.